What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm back with another video. Today I'm going to be talking about the Netflix hit show Stranger Things. Hopefully you guys are a fan of this series. If not, I advise you to go watch this. This is just my review. I'm not going to recap this whole season. This is season 1 review on how I felt about it, the show. But let's get into it, man. Stranger Things season 1. Actually, I started watching this show last year. It came out last summer. Now I started watching the first episode, but I ended up stopping. It was a very late night. I was tired. But once I stopped watching it, I never finished it. Put it like that. I never finished it, and I was just so tied up with other shows at the time. But I'm kind of glad that I didn't watch this show last year, because I was able to watch 17 episodes straight. Not like straight, but I'll watch some one day, watch some the next day. But to me, it was better like that, because once I finished the first season, I can hop right into the second season. I had a lot of episodes to watch. Like I say, Stranger Things, this is just a pure example of great writing. Especially season 1. Season 1 is a pure example of great writing, storyline, theme. Everything in it. This show was set back in the 80s. So we got to remember that it's set back in the 80s. If you grew up in the 80s, I'm pretty sure you will love this show. Now, it is a sci-fi type show, like a thriller, mystery. This is a good show, a great show, and I don't say that about a lot of shows. If I review a show, it's, in my opinion, a very good show. If I want to take the time out and talk about it like I am now, this show has to be good. This show, I'm telling you, if you haven't watched it, go on Netflix, start watching it. Now, the show really start picking up the pace once it got to, I want to say, episode 3. For me, that's my opinion. Once it got to episode 3, it started picking up, and I was hooked. Like I couldn't turn it off. I was just watching it. I could not turn this show off. Like I said, the show, it got some sci-fi type shit to it. Now, I know a lot of you guys that sub to this channel, you probably, I know most of you guys love Power and everything like that. But with this show, it's something different, and it just reminds you of back in the day. And then you remember back in the 80s and the 90s how the movies and TV shows were. They were great. And then if you compare most TV shows and movies of today to the 80s and 90s, you already know it's no comparison. Back then, it just seemed like TV was better at that time. Now in the 80s, it wasn't really no cell phones like that. These kids are using walkie-talkies. The whole 80s theme in this show was just great. From the soundtrack, the whole thing is great. Now, the whole plot of the show is, we got the government, and we all know, especially back in the 70s, 80s, how big they were on alien activity and shit. This all types of weird shit like Bigfoot. All that shit was very exciting to kids and teenagers back then. Now with this show, the government, they were experimenting with some other shit. They're trying to spy and use special kids for their experiments. And they end up using a kid named Elle. She was kidnapped. They kidnapped Elle from her mother, named her 11. She has psychic powers. She can control stuff. She can see people just with a picture. This girl is special. Put it like this: she's very special. And they're using her. Long story short, they're using her abilities, and she breaks into a different world, an alien world. Whatever this thing is, she breaks into their world, and the world is called the Upside Down. And what happens is, once she opens up this portal, this monster comes out the portal, and now they can't figure out how to close it. Now there's monsters in the real world, and they can't figure out how to close the portal and 11, she runs away, you know. And eventually 11 runs away and she's found by Dustin, Mike, and Lucas. And these three guys, they're looking for their friend Will, who's disappeared, and he's trapped in the upside down world. The monster has kidnapped him, has taken him into the upside down world. This is what the whole show is about, the journey to find Will, and also Mike's sister, Nancy. She's lost her friend too, Barbara. So her friend is in the upside down as well. I mean, I don't really want to do a full recap. I'm just trying to review it because I want you guys to go watch. I don't want to spoil anything. This really is not a spoiler review, but I advise you, if you haven't, go watch it. Even if you ain't into that sci-fi shit, because me, I try to watch different shows every now and then. And this show, I'm telling you, it's special. It's special. Like I said, if you got Netflix, you can watch it all right now. You can watch it all. And what I hope Stranger Things does in the future is, I hope they can be very consistent with their storytelling. I don't want it to get watered down like The Orange is the New Black. It's a series that started off very strong. It was very strong at the beginning, but then it started to get very commercial and watered down, in my opinion. I think when the show first started, it had great writing, but then it just started getting too commercial and watered down. It didn't seem the same. And this is how season 1 is. It's very good. It's not watered down, based off in the 80s, where kids actually was going outside, having fun, doing adventures, doing dumb stuff, actually going outside. People actually talking to each other. The show was based in Indiana, but it was actually filmed in Atlanta, Georgia. But it's supposed to be in a fictional town called Hawkins, Indiana. Very small town. Everybody knows each other, Kids rode bikes and did kid stuff. The kids in this show are very heavily into Dungeons and Dragons, and they're using their knowledge of that game to use with this whole finding the wheel thing. So them trying to find their friend, they're using Dungeons and Dragons and say, you know what, this is similar. This is our only knowledge, and we're using that. We're going to find our friend, and eventually they have the help of 11, which they name her Elle, and she helps them on a long journey. But like I said, if this is probably the best show out that's far as new, this is probably it right here. This is probably one of the best shows, in my opinion, out right now that's new. Especially season 1. It's the foundation. Season 1, you can tell the writers were hungry to prove a point, and that's what it happens with a lot of series. If you go back and you check a lot of shows, the very first or the first 2 seasons usually be probably the best most of the times, unless it's like Breaking Bad or something where it just got better and better. But with most shows, you see the best work within the first 2 or 3 seasons because the writers are hungry. They're giving you original content. But then what happens is a lot of shows start getting too commercial and they start to, water down the writing, and I don't really like that. But with Stranger Things, it's great writing, man. The theme is just crazy. The 80s theme is unbelievable, man. I love the 80s theme. I love the 80s theme. The 80s rock, the soundtrack of this show is great. And I'm not bluffing. If you love TV shows, if you need something new, if you need something to hold you off, this right here, I'm telling you, it's the show to go to. It's the show to go to. I'm not bullshitting with you guys. This show right here is the show to go to. And it may seem weird to you at first if you're not used to watching stuff like this, but I guarantee you, once you get to episode 3, you will not put this show down. You will keep watching. I watched season 1, and then once I got to season 2, I watched the whole season 2 in one day. And that's 9 hours. I couldn't stop watching it. I watched the whole thing because I couldn't stop watching the show. That's how good it is. But to all my Power fans, everybody that subbed to me, If you haven't, most of you guys, some of you guys probably watch. I'm pretty sure some of my subs watch this. But if you haven't, check out Stranger Things season 1. My review, this is great. Season 1 is great. Great. I'm going to do a season 2 review as well. But like I said, this is just my season 1 review of the show. I didn't want to, this is spoiler free, so I didn't want to actually tell you what happened. I just wanted to tell you the plot, of Will disappearing, Barbara disappearing, the government trying to, a stupid science experiment that goes wrong, and they're using kids with special abilities to help them with their science experiments. And like I said, one of the kids named 11, she breaks into a whole nother world, and then this monster from another world comes out, and now they got a portal that's open, and they don't know how to close it. They keep burning it down, thinking that's going to help, but it's not closing this portal. So the whole show is that we need to find Will and find Barbara. That's the main focus of this season. It's to find Will and find Barbara. Will is gone missing, and one other thing is this, and that's, even though Will is missing, everybody thinks Will is dead, but his mother, she doesn't think he's dead. She thinks something is up, and she's the only one that really truly believes he's not dead. Also, his friends, Mike, Lucas, and Dustin, they don't believe Will is dead. So that's another thing to look out for. But great show. Make sure you check it out and let me know what you think of the show. But I'm going to get on and out of here, man. It's your boy Mark Dark. I'm out. Peace.